Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Peggy Smith joining us. How are you today?
I'm great, Jill. How are you?
Good. Pleasure to have you back. Excited to have you here. Margaret Smith, again, she's a hypnotherapist, registered nurse at HappyPossibilities, and she's also a clown. She helps people laugh and smile. There's a lot to her. I just want to point out she's from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but working. And tell us, Happy Possibilities, what is the website?
It's not just hypnosis.biz, B-I-Z.
Perfect. And as a hypnotist, we talked quite a few times. A lot of your holistic approaches of how you're helping people. And what did you have in mind for us today?
Today, I'm going to talk about nutrition because that's such a holistic part of being healthy in every other way. And if you're not following good nutrition guidelines, the rest of your body's not going to work too well for very long.
All right.
It's like using high-test gas in the car.
All right. Maybe is this part of nutrition, but hydration? Is that a big factor in our nutrition? Right?
That is a big factor, yes.
So don't mind me. I'm working on that. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, water makes up 60 to 70% of our body weight. So, and it's actually the largest component in your blood that helps carry the oxygen to your heart and lungs. So water is very important. It also kind of works as a lubricant, when you feel really tight and stiff or dehydrated, then you find out if you drink some water, it helps a lot to relieve those symptoms. But the way hypnosis and nutrition are connected, obviously a lot of people come to me for weight loss, and nutrition is an important part of that. The whole program there. I'm an integrative health nutrition coach from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York. And I've been doing that for almost 20 years now. And, it seems like no matter when people are under stress, they have a lot of gut issues right now. Hypnosis helps relieve the stress. And then we can address, what else are you eating? Because what are your comfort foods? Because they're usually not too healthy. If people come to me to manage symptoms of cancer, a diet is not going to cure your cancer, but it can certainly make it easier to manage the symptoms as you're going through the traditional treatments. And there might be some nutrition guidelines that will ease the side effects better than other things, like ginger, for instance. Just ginger candy, not the spicy kind, but the sweet kind, is actually very good. Works better than ginger ale. Mm-hmm. And the kind that you just break off in wafers. Here in Philadelphia, we have Wegmans and Giant stores that sell them in their bulk candy aisle. And that's what I recommend usually. You can buy it online, or the ones that are the traditional drugstore sell usually are pretty spicy, and I haven't found them to be too healthy.
No.
But as we look at basic nutrition, there's 6 major classes of nutrients that are involved in the total picture. Back in the day, I guess when I was in high school, the FDA was talking about, the plate divided up in 4 places, to your meats, your proteins, your carbohydrates, and now they've changed it a little bit. The latest guidelines on the internet, actually, from the dietary guidelines, is a booklet that it's free. And it covers 2020 all the way to 25. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how they think that those guidelines are that much better than they were in 2019 or whatever. But it was interesting. It was 42 pages long. Water. Another reason that you want to drink water is because it regulates your body temperature. It keeps your kidneys working properly, and it kind of is involved in almost every mechanism and reaction that happens in your body. A lot of people, they have suffer from migraines. Sometimes it's as simple, and not always, but can be as simple as not drinking enough. If you start feeling dizzy and you're taking certain prescribed meds and you're not drinking enough, you can actually get to blood levels in your body, especially with the seizure drugs or some of the psychiatric drugs, which, it's just a domino effect. Everything goes downhill. The next section of nutrients classes is proteins, and proteins are the body's building blocks. Every cell in our body has proteins and needs proteins, and they're essential for growth, maintenance, and repair of all the body tissues. Amino acids make up the proteins, and there are 22 amino acids in all, but our body only makes 14 of them. So we have to get the other 8 from the foods that we eat. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how that, for people that don't eat traditional protein sources, like the meat and fishes, protein in plant foods, grains, peas, and beans is not as complete, but you can combine the different cereals and plants and, that kind of protein that you use, and you can still get a balanced diet. Carbohydrates, that's everybody's favorite nutrient. That's the fuel for energy in our body. The sugars and starches, the vegetables have quite a lot of carbohydrates in it. Sometimes people don't realize that. And that's your main energy source. It also gives you fiber, and fiber is necessary to keep the plumbing working, and but it's the part of the food that you can't digest, so it passes through your body and adds bulk to the back end, and that's how it keeps the plumbing working. Fats are also used, helps the proteins and the carbohydrates work more efficiently. So, there's got to be a good reason for fat. We can't just discount that in our diet. They also carry the fat-soluble vitamins, and they protect your vital organs and have other important functions. The fats in your diet, though, is not the same kind of fat that's the extra fat that we carry around our waist in the adipose tissue. Vitamins are the organic substances that are essential for good health, but your body does not make vitamins. So you have to have vitamins, not necessarily with a multivitamin, although I do recommend a daily multivitamin. But you can get it in the foods that you eat, with one exception. If you have major bariatric surgery where they kind of rearrange your hormonal system in your gut, your body cannot absorb vitamins in the normal healthy diet. You still need to eat that healthy diet for other reasons, but you need to take vitamin supplements externally from the food that you eat. Otherwise, it can have some pretty disabling and detrimental effects and kind of cancel out the good that the surgery did if you went that route. So you can get, there's 2 types of vitamins. There's the fat-soluble ones, which are in our liver, and the others are water-soluble, but they usually go right through our body pretty quickly, especially if we're drinking as much water as we're supposed to be. We'll explain a little bit what some of the common vitamins do. Vitamin A, it helps your eyes adjust to dim light. It keeps your skin healthy. It keeps the mucous membranes, protecting them so they are less resistant to infections. And it also helps control bone growth. You can get vitamin A from liver. My mother-in-law, rest her soul, she used to love liver and onions. I've never been a fan of liver and onions, but I know it's very healthy. Very good for building red blood cells. If somebody is naturally or, for whatever reason, anemic, like pernicious anemia, liver is actually a very good source to help correct that. Whole milk, some cheeses, egg yolk, and dark leafy green vegetables. Some of the yellow fruits and vegetables are also good for vitamin A. And butter and cream is good for vitamin A. We all like our butter. Vitamin D is, what fortifies a lot of our dairy products. And that helps your body use calcium and phosphorus to build your bones and teeth. It's important for growing children and for pregnant and lactating mothers. And of course, sunlight with protection, of course, and people didn't do that back in the day. And fortified milk is a good source of the vitamin D. Vitamin E, it helps keep your red blood cells intact. But if you're going to have surgery, your doctor will often tell you to stop your vitamin E before surgery because it could lead you to some unexpected bleeding complications in surgery. So you usually have to stop a couple days before surgery. And that's why your doctor's telling you to do that. It's an antioxidant, and it protects vitamin A from rusting, oxidation. So it helps the vitamin A. They all work together, one big happy family. And good sources of vitamin E are soybean, corn, and cottonseed oil.